So I'm not ducking Tom Aspinall. He's annoying to me. He's annoying to me. And that's my own personal, he annoys me.
Jon Jones isn't afraid of Tom Aspinall. I wish people would stop saying that.
I think Aspinall's a phenomenal heavyweight. I think he's going to be there for a while.
Dude, Jon Jones is an absolute disgrace to this earth. He's a joke. I mean,
Jon Jones or Tom Aspinall. So if you don't know MMA world, sorry to bore you, but Tom Aspinall is UFC's #1 right now. Jon Jones is...
Jon Jones, you know, it's probably the best fighter that ever lives. You know, talk about if I have to choose someone in his prime that I put in the Coliseum hand to hand, I think it would be Jon Jones. You know, it's hard to deny that.
Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss out on the biggest stories in MMA. Now let's get into it.
I see quite a few people in here calling me a duck. I'm a duck. Call me a duck. Call me a chicken. Call me a goat. Call me a dog. I'm not in high school anymore, guys. So I'm not ducking Tom Aspinall. If I failed to fight Stipe, I would be ducking Stipe because we contractually have been signed up to fight over a year ago. This is Stipe's position. The Tom narrative came out of nowhere. He won a belt and now suddenly I'm ducking him. I've never had negotiations to even fight him, if this makes sense.
Like, people are starting acting surprised. Oh, Jon's a duck, this, that and the other. Jon Jones ducked Francis Ngannou for 3 years. Like, don't be surprised that this guy always takes fights where he's at the advantage.
Jon Jones addressed the accusations from Tom Aspinall, firmly rejecting the notion that he's avoiding the fight. He made it clear that he's not ducking anyone. He just doesn't see Aspinall as a legitimate challenger right now. On the flip side, Tom Aspinall compared Jon Jones to a politician, saying he's always trying to manipulate fan perception. Aspinall said he's never once attacked Jon's legacy, and actually thinks it's incredible, far greater than his own or most others in the UFC. He emphasized that his issue isn't personal. It's about the fact that Jon holds the heavyweight title, while Aspinall believes he is currently the best heavyweight in the world.
See, the thing with Jon is he's a bit like a politician. He likes to control the narrative of what fans think. I have never once come after Jon's legacy. I think it's unbelievable. I think his legacy is going to be far superior to mine, and most of the guys who are fighting in the UFC never had a problem with his legacy. I've never had a problem with him personally. The problem is he has the heavyweight title and I'm the #1 heavyweight in the world.
Aspinall continued by saying people shouldn't be shocked that Jon's being called a duck. In his view, Jones avoided Francis Ngannou for 3 years, and now he's doing the same with him. Aspinall said it's not a personal dig, it's just the truth. He called Jon sensitive and calculated, someone who portrays himself as the GOAT while dismissing Aspinall as a nobody. Aspinall pointed out that he's ranked #1 and has already finished 5 of the top 10 heavyweights in the first round, proving he's no one to overlook.
Like, people are starting acting surprised. Oh, Jon's a duck, this, that and the other. Jon Jones ducked Francis Ngannou for 3 years. Like, don't be surprised that this guy always takes fights where he's at the advantage. And that's not me getting at Jon. These are the facts of it. Jon's a very touchy guy, and he likes to, like I say, he likes to be smart about his approach and control the narrative of fans by saying he's the GOAT, which he's definitely got a case for, by saying that, oh, this guy, Tom Aspinall's a nobody. Well, mate, I'm a nobody who has a #1 ranking and has finished 5 of the top 10 guys in the first round. Like, I'm one of them top 10 guys, so that's 9 guys. 5 of them I've beaten the first round. So there's only 4 guys left in the top 10 who I haven't beat.
Jones responded again, doubling down on the fact that there's no ducking going on. He said the only situation that would count as ducking is if he backed out of his fight with Stipe Miocic, a bout they agreed to over a year ago. The talk about Aspinall, according to Jon, only started after Tom won a belt, and there have never even been negotiations for a fight between them.
So I'm not ducking Tom Aspinall. If I failed to fight Stipe, I would be ducking Stipe because we contractually have been signed up to fight over a year ago. This is Stipe's position. The Tom narrative came out of nowhere. He won a belt and now suddenly I'm ducking him. I've never had negotiations to even fight him, if this makes sense. So the fans are just ignoring it. They're ignoring all logic, and they just have finally found someone that they think can compete with me, and everyone wants to see it now. I see quite a few people in here calling me a duck. I'm a duck. Call me a duck. Call me a chicken. Call me a goat. Call me a dog. I'm not in high school anymore, guys. A grown man out here chasing his dreams. It's funny that we really live in a world where being called a duck should affect me. Guys, come on.
Aspinall didn't hold back when it came to fan reactions either. He said he has no problem admitting Jon has the greater resume, but he still believes he's the rightful top heavyweight and should get a chance to prove it. He expressed disappointment that someone at Jon's level isn't willing to face real competition when it's standing right in front of him.
I see a lot of touchy fans online being like, well, Jon's done this superior to... Listen, no arguments that Jon Jones's resume is far superior to mine, but he has what I deserve, and I want to go and prove that I'm the guy, and that's the only way we can sort it. So I'm challenging him to a fight, and I'm a little bit disappointed that Jon, as the great champion that he is, doesn't want to give other guys that opportunity when someone's breathing down his neck.
Aspinall went on to say that true champions accept challenges, and if Jon doesn't think he's worthy, then he should prove that in the cage. He said he would have no issue admitting defeat if he lost, but what he doesn't respect is this game of avoidance.
Because that's the first thing that most champions would do, is like, right, this guy wants it, I'm going to put him in his place. And if he thinks I don't deserve it, show me that I don't deserve it. Show me. Sweet, mate. If you kick my ass in front of the whole world, I'm happy to put my hand out and go, listen, you're the better man. No problem. You took my dreams away from me, but at least I tried. But this ducking and diving is something that I don't really have respect for.
The issue initially flared up when Jon said Tom hadn't beaten any current or former champions. Tom responded, saying that's because Jon is the champion, and he won't fight him. He added that Jon sees the matchup as too risky, and that avoiding him is all about protecting his legacy.
And of course, it's been pretty interesting, all the stuff that Jon Jones has been saying to the media this week, and I'm sure there's more to come, but check out these.
You're beating guys who aren't even champions, and you consider yourself a champion. He's not a champion.
So Jon said I need to fight more champions, but this is the problem I've got. Jon is the champion, and he won't fight me. And he says that he won't fight me because it's too much of a gamble.
Aspinall to me is no difference than an Owen St. Prude or Dominic Reyes or Anthony Smith. They're like just another up-and-comer that's exciting right now. And I'm not into gambling my legacy for what's exciting.
And Jon, if you're not into gambling your legacy, that to me sounds like you're scared of losing against me.
Jon fired back, admitting he finds Tom annoying and is not a fan of his personality. He acknowledged that a potential fight would be huge, but said if it's going to happen, the money has to be right. Jon claimed he's already living a good life and doesn't need the fight, while Aspinall does.
He's annoying to me. He's annoying to me. And that's my own personal, he annoys me. I get to you guys, you find it entertaining, but I find him annoying. And I just don't like him. And at the end of the day, if I give him the opportunity to fight me, I want to be so compensated. I want to say it, I want that you money, honestly. And that's just what it is. That's just what it is. Or else my life is perfect without him. I don't need him at all, and he needs me. And that's a good place to be in a negotiation.
Daniel Cormier chimed in, saying Jon isn't scared of Tom or anyone else. In Cormier's view, Jon is just being calculated, trying to preserve his legacy. He said fighting Tom, even with the risk of losing, wouldn't hurt Jon's legacy at this point, but added that maybe Jones wants to exit the sport on his own terms.
Jon Jones isn't afraid of Tom Aspinall. I wish people would stop saying that. He is not afraid of that guy. He's not afraid of anyone. He's not afraid to fight this guy. He's not. I think he's trying to be more strategic. I think he's trying to make sure his legacy stands. I don't know how it could ever be faded. I mean, we do have short memories, but could you ever forget what he did? I don't think him fighting Tom Aspinall with the potential that he would lose is a bad thing. But as most would expect him to win the fight. But at the end of the day, The old guard has to get passed through for the new guard to go, unless you don't play the sport by the way that everyone else does it. Everyone else does it that way. Maybe Jones will be different.
Frank Mir also backed Jon, saying he's earned the right to choose his fights. He acknowledged Aspinall's speed and striking are real threats, but believed that if Jon grabs hold of him, he's still the favorite.
I think Aspinall's a phenomenal heavyweight. I think he's going to be there for a while. With Jon, it's hard for me to tell people. The guy has earned so much. I feel like sometimes people have such a short memory in our sport. The guy has been one of the most dominant fighters of all time. If he wants to pick and choose who he fights, at a certain point, he kind of earned the right to. But, he faces criticism, I guess, from other people. But as far as what settles in my stomach, well, I get it. Because look how people are short memory with him right now. Well, he's not the GOAT, and he's dodging Tom. This guy fought everybody. I don't count him out in a fight with Aspinall. I've trained with Jon. I know how he feels when he grabs a hold of you. I think Tom's hands could really be the X factor if we can catch him or not. Tom's striking is more powerful than a lot of the people, and speed-wise in Jon's face. If Jon grabs him, though, I'm betting on Jon.
Rampage Jackson said something similar, calling Jon unbeatable, based on his own experience. He did admit Aspinall is dangerous, but doesn't think he can beat Jones. He even said he's heard Jones is planning to study Tom's style for 6 months.
You fought Jon Jones back in the day. People are
why you only bringing up my losses?
People are all talking about Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall. How do you see that fight going? You got Tom or you got Jon?
Man, I don't think there's nobody on this planet that can beat Jon Jones because I was in there with him. I was at my best, and I've never lost a fight at my best until Jon Jones. And no disrespect to Tom Aspinall, but he a good fighter. You know what I'm saying? I think he's probably second best out there, but I don't see him.
You think Jon Jones finishes him?
I think Jon Jones is just a real smart fighter. I heard something like he want to take 6 months before he fight Aspinall. I think it's because he want to study him. He want to break him down. Right. Jon Jones ain't no fool. He's probably one of the smartest fighters out there. I say he like Neo. He's Neo of MMA.
George St-Pierre also praised Jon, saying he might be the greatest fighter of all time. If he had to pick one fighter in their prime to represent MMA in a coliseum, it would be Jon Jones.
Jon Jones, it's probably the best fighter that ever lives. Talk about if I have to choose someone in his prime that I put in the Coliseum hand to hand, I think I would be Jon Jones. It's hard to deny that.
But not everyone agrees. Colby Covington ripped into Jon, accusing him of avoiding real threats like Tom and Francis Ngannou. He claimed Jon only fights opponents where he holds a clear advantage.
Dude, Jon Jones is an absolute disgrace to this earth. He's a joke. I mean, yeah, you beat Stipe. Stipe, respect to Stipe first off because he's a first responder and he puts his life on the line for the people and for his community. So shout out to Stipe. He's the greatest heavyweight of all time, but he was past his time. He shouldn't even have been there, man. He knows he was old and he was just showing up for a paycheck. That's not the Stipe of old. That was in his prime anymore. So I don't think anything special that performance. I think Jon needs to stop ducking Tom Aspinall, just like he ducked Ngannou. He ducked Ngannou for years. Now he's ducking Aspinall. So he doesn't want to fight the guys he knows he's getting his ass whooped against. So I don't think anything special with Jon.
Tom himself also addressed Jon's failed drug tests, saying anyone who used PEDs shouldn't be in the GOAT conversation, even if they didn't take steroids.
Is he the greatest?
Potentially, but the way that I look at it, he has failed a couple of drug tests. To me, that rules you out of being the best of all time.
Really?
For me personally, yeah, I think.
Does it make him a cheat?
Yeah, of course it does. Yeah. If you're on steroids or whatever, I don't think he was on steroids, but he was on PEDs, performance-enhancing drugs. If you're on PEDs and your opponent isn't, that's absolutely cheating.
Belal Muhammad believes Tom might be Jon's toughest challenge yet, but said it's only worth it for Jon if the payday is huge.
If I'm Jon Jones, a lot of people consider him the GOAT, the best fighter ever do it. The next hungry lion is Aspinall. It's probably the toughest fight that he'll have. This guy's the next generation. He's a lot stronger, a lot faster. But I think Jon Jones is good enough to beat him. But it's it has to be worth it. The fans are fickle, right? You lose one fight, they're gonna, he sucks. Right? They just care about your last win or your last loss. I think Dana White and them will end up making it. Dana White's a smart businessman. He knows how much money that fight would make. If I'm Jon Jones, you've already done everything in the sport. It's not worth it unless it's that $30 million, $50 million payday. If I'm Jon Jones, I'm picking out Pereira first over Aspinall.
Eddie Hall also threw his support behind Aspinall, saying he'd beat Jones if they fought. He criticized Jon's reluctance to make the fight happen.
Jon Jones or Tom Aspinall. So if you don't know MMA world, sorry to bore you, but Tom Aspinall is UFC's #1 right now. Jon Jones is, he's seen as the best MMA fighter on the planet. Dana White's got a massive for him, says he's unbeatable. Honestly, I think if you put Jon Jones and Tom Aspinall in a room and said one man leaves, I think Tom Aspinall leaves that room. I genuinely do. I think, and I think Jon Jones, I mean, I can't badmouth the guy. He's got an amazing record, but he's definitely ducking Tom Aspinall, 100%. And I think he's even said he doesn't want to fight Tom Aspinall after his next fight. He's pretty much going to retire after this fight, so he's ducking Tom Aspinall. I mean, you can say what he wants, but actions speak louder than words. So there we go. Anyway, the answer to that question is Tom Aspinall. Tom Aspinall is kicking Jon Jones.
Paddy Pimblett said the fight needs to happen. While he hopes Tom wins, he just can't bet against Jon Jones because of his fight IQ.
Do you think the Aspinall-Jones fight happens?
It's got to happen. I was sitting next to Tom the other week at the UFC in London and talking to him about it.
How do you think that plays out if they fight?
I'll be honest, Tom's a friend. I love Tom. He's one of the coolest dudes in the whole of MMA. Even though Jones is getting old, I just can't pick against Jon Jones. The one thing I do think Jon Jones has got the best in the world and the best ever is his fight IQ. He has a perfect game plan to beat that person. As much as I love Tom and I want Tom to win, I couldn't pick against Jon Jones. It's just something I couldn't do.
So what do you think? Should Jon Jones finally face Tom Aspinall? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more.